Okay everybody, this is Mooney-Dashcam. If you enjoy these videos, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. Today we're going to be going to the apartment of David Berkowitz, the son of Sam. And I'll be giving you his whole backstory. So to start the story on this guy, you have to go way back. So his birth mother got pregnant with a married man after her husband left her for another woman. And the guy that she got pregnant with said, if you don't get rid of the child, then I'm gonna abandon you. So she was like, okay, so she put the kid up for adoption, and that's David Berkowitz. He was adopted, and he acted out as a child. It was said that he lost interest in school because he had like above average intelligence. So the things that he would do to act out were not normal things that kids did. Nothing this guy did was normal. The things he did were starting fires and petty robbery. I apologize for these roads here in the Bronx, they're terrible. Yeah, starting fires and petty robbery. So his parents brought him to at least one psychotherapist to try and get through to him and figure out what's going on with him. And then yeah, I guess that didn't really work, obviously. That's why I'm making this video today. And then his adopted mother died when he was 14 of breast cancer. And he did not get along with his new stepmom when his dad remarried. So that was like, had a lot of strain on him, caused him a lot of mental instability, family instability, you know. At 17, he joined the army. And after 3 years, he finished with that and he wanted to find his birth mother. And he finally found her. Her name was Betty. And when he learned about all the details of his birth, it crushed him. People think that that was the primary crisis that kind of started off this whole ridiculous life. But, I mean, he was starting fires before he learned about that info. So, I don't know how much that played a part. And then here's where the crime started. In the mid-1970s, he was mostly after young women, and his crimes most of the time involved more than one person. And he really enjoyed what he did. He would go back to the crime scenes when the cops were there, he'd look it out, he was nuts. That's the kind of stuff he liked, obviously. Most of the crimes he committed were in the boroughs of the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. That's why the guy got away with a lot, because he lived in Yonkers and would go all the different boroughs to commit the crimes. Alright, I'm going to give you a list of the crimes. It's pretty ridiculous. So, we're going to start up. This is 1975. This wasn't really recorded as one of his crimes. People more care about, like, the shootings. But he stabbed 2 women on Christmas Eve. He didn't kill them. They both survived. Then, this is when he started using his gun. He shot 2 women in their car, killing one, injuring another. After that, he shot a couple. He shot the male in the head, but he lived. And then shooting of 2 women, injuring one and paralyzing one. The couple he shot a couple. The man survived, the woman didn't. Then he just shot a lone woman on the street walking to her house. At this point, they started to string together and assume that it was all one person doing this. Before that, it was kind of just random murders. You also have to think this is in the mid-70s, when murder in New York was ridiculously high. So it kind of blended in with everything else that was going on at the time. Where are we at here? After that, he shoots 2 women dead in a car. Until now, he was called the .44 caliber killer, because that's the kind of gun he used. I think it was a .44 caliber bulldog revolver, I think they called it. Don't quote me on that one. And after that, he started leaving letters for the police to find, taunting them and telling him that he was going to continue. And in the letters, he called himself the son of Sam. And that name really stuck, obviously. I'm calling him that to this day. Yeah, I would consider looking up those letters. It's some scary stuff that he put in there. Kind of the ramblings of a crazy person. I don't know Oh, that was a turn I need to go down right there. Okay, we'll make a loop. No big deal. Now, Yonkers is above the Bronx, and it is a crazy area. It's just hills, and right there, that's the Hudson River. It's totally different than all the other boroughs. Kind of a beautiful area that I'm in right now. Okay, getting back to the killer. Yeah, so these letters, a lot of them were released into the newspapers, which I don't think was a good idea, but at the time they didn't really have as advanced thinking in like what should be released, what should be held back, all that kind of stuff. So the city was in a total panic. Since the women that he killed mostly had longer, dark hair, everyone was cutting their hair, if they had dark hair, and dyeing it lighter. The salons couldn't handle what was going on. That's how many people were doing it. And then he kept killing. He shot 2, both survived, but one got a description of him and a partial plate number. So they were really starting to close in on him at this time. So then, this is now the final shooting. The final shooting took place in Brooklyn. A couple was in their car kissing. Berkowitz fires 4 shots just feet away from the passenger window. Oh, he's got to turn, so I got to go first. So yeah, he fires 4 shots just feet away from the passenger window, killing the woman and taking out the man's eye. He lost his eye from that. Wait, we're turning up here. We're getting close to where he lived. I don't know how anyone's supposed to do these streets in the winter when it's snowing out. I can barely even fit past this guy right here. I'm assuming these people go through breaks a lot that live here. Going up and down these hills, riding the brakes. Look at this house just on a hillside. Wow, they have a beautiful view. That's crazy. Okay, we're getting closer, we're getting closer. I feel like I'm climbing a mountain over here. I wonder why this guy's backing up. That was it right there. I swung right by it. This is it. This is the main entrance right here of where he lived and of where he was arrested, getting into his car. I'll get into that in a little bit. This used to be 32 Prince Street. Sorry, not Prince. Pine Street. And they changed it to 42 Pine Street after what went on to try and keep up the value of the place and kind of get away from what happened here. Okay, so he did that final killing, and now he was coming up on a year of this killing spree. So the police were really getting itchy, getting antsy to catch this guy. I mean, seriously, you're gonna let a murderer, a serial killer, free for a year in New York City? I could understand why they'd want to get him caught. Let's turn up this road and I'll give you the rest. So, during that last shooting where he took out the guy's eye and killed the woman, a woman was walking her dog pretty much at the scene. She sees a car getting ticketed, a car that's parked at the fire hydrant. Right after the cop walks away, ticketing the car, she notices a guy suspiciously staring her down and holding onto a dark object, right? She assumed it was a gun. And now at the time, everyone's panicked that they're going to get killed. So she runs off to her house. She's only like a block away from her house. She was scared, so she waited like 4 days to report this. And it turns out that was the son of Sam. They looked at all the cars that were ticketed. It turns out it was a yellow Ford Galaxy, and it went back to that apartment in Yonkers. So yeah, wait, find a spot here. So the detectives find his apartment, and they're sitting outside, and they don't want to go. They don't want to get search warrants. They don't want to search his car. They're waiting for search warrants. Sorry, they don't want to just go into his car because they want everything. They want it to be a solid case in court. They want warrants. They want everything to be done correctly. So they wait outside for him to come out. He comes out. He gets into his car. Two detectives run up. They both aim guns at him, and he admits right there. He goes, "You finally caught me." He says something along the lines of, "What took you so long?" And then something along the lines of, "I'm the son of Sam." And he admitted it right there. So afterwards, they searched his apartment, and it was covered in satanic graffiti. And they found 3 notebooks full. He was keeping them since he was 21. Meticulous notes of all the arsons that he committed. People think that he committed upwards of 1,400 arsons, which is just insane. I mean, I've never even set a fire in my backyard in my fireplace 1,400 times, you know? So in his confession, he said he did it all because his neighbor's demonic dog told him to, just to get a grasp on how crazy this guy was. After all this, he was sentenced to 6 life sentences in prison, and then there's much more after that. He went to Attica in New York for a while to serve out, I think, 20 years of his sentence he served out in Attica. And during that time, he wasn't really a popular inmate. He got his neck slashed. The guy was trying to kill him. And he got 50 stitches in his neck. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I could tell you in a video this short about the son of Sam. If you're interested, I would really advise you to look him up. Very interesting. Obviously terrible guy, but interesting to learn about. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.